Andrew Mountbatten. Windsor is currently in the process of relocating to Marsh Farm, a 5-bedroom property on the Sandringham Estate in Norfolk. The property sits on land owned by his brother, King Charles III. It is his permanent residence, arranged for him, paid for by the Crown, following his eviction from Royal Lodge in Windsor. The 30-room Grade II listed Georgian mansion, where he had lived since 2004. Security measures are visible. The move has been in progress for weeks. Removal vans, workmen, a 6-foot perimeter fence, CCTV cameras, an electric fence erected around the boundary, a no-fly zone extended overhead. And among the deliveries, valuable artwork is being rehung by removal specialists Gander and White, a firm that charges approximately £15,000 per team. Curtains brought from Royal Lodge were too heavy for the new walls and were altered at considerable expense, also covered by the king. None of this is being done quietly. The HRH labels were spotted by observers as boxes were carried into Marsh Farm. The 3 labels, His Royal Highness Office, His Royal Highness Sitting Room, and His Royal Highness Meeting Room, were documented and reported. They were not rumored. They were seen. In royal households, titles are not applied casually. Staff do not improvise. They follow instructions, follow protocol, follow the language they are given, which means those labels came from somewhere. Someone directed them. Someone organized an entire household move around a form of address that was officially stripped from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in October 2025 by King Charles III. The removal of his titles was not ambiguous. He lost his right to be styled His Royal Highness. He lost his dukedom. He was excised from the family's press operation. He was ordered to leave Royal Lodge. The sequence of events was deliberate, methodical, and public. The labels on those boxes are a direct contradiction of all of it. What is emerging here is not merely the administrative chaos of a house move. It is a portrait of a man who refuses to update his own record. Reports from those who have worked near him describe a household still operating under the formal structures of his previous life. He is said to still refer to himself as Prince Andrew in private. The language of rank, it appears, has not left the building. It has simply moved from Royal Lodge to a 5-bedroom farmhouse on a working estate. Meanwhile, the renovations at Marsh Farm have been described as painfully slow. The property required rewiring, plastering, and there were discussions about the presence of asbestos. Andrew is said to have expressed a desire to wait until it met his standards. The king, sources suggest, is exasperated. Wood Farm, where Andrew has been staying as temporary accommodation, is also on the Sandringham estate, and Charles wants it available for family use over Easter. Andrew wants the best of everything. The process is, by all accounts, proceeding on his timeline. 6 weeks ago, it was not a moving van pulling up to his property. It was a police car. On the morning of February 19th, 2026, Thames Valley Police arrived at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate shortly after 8 a.m. They arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor on suspicion of misconduct in public office. He was taken into custody. He was questioned. He was released 11 hours later under investigation, which means neither charged nor exonerated. It was his 66th birthday. He is the first senior member of the British royal family to be arrested and held in police custody in more than 350 years. The last was King Charles I, taken by parliamentary forces in 1647 and subsequently tried for high treason. That precedent is not incidental. It is the context in which every box labeled HRH now has to be read. The allegation at the center of the investigation is specific. While serving as the United Kingdom's special envoy for international trade. Between 2001 and 2011, Mountbatten Windsor is suspected of sharing confidential government information with Jeffrey Epstein. Among the documents under scrutiny are internal trade mission reports from Hong Kong, Vietnam, and Singapore, and a confidential government briefing on investment reconstruction in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. One email appeared to show a report forwarded to Epstein 5 minutes after Mountbatten Windsor had received it himself. These documents were not uncovered by journalists or investigative bodies. They were released by the United States Department of Justice as part of the Epstein files, more than 3 million pages, 180,000 images, and 2,000 videos, published in January 2026. The scale of the disclosure made the assessment of its contents a matter of public record almost immediately. Thames Valley Police, the Metropolitan Police, and Surrey Police formed a joint assessment team. After analysis, investigators concluded that the threshold for arrest had been met. Search warrants were executed at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. The Home Office was notified 30 minutes before the arrest, a procedural step the force described as routine. Misconduct in public office carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment under United Kingdom law. The King's response was immediate and calibrated. He released a statement the morning of the arrest. He expressed his deepest concern. He confirmed that the law must take its course. He said the royal family offered its full and wholehearted support and cooperation to law enforcement. He did not visit. In the weeks since, Charles has remained at Sandringham, 2 miles from where his brother is now preparing to settle permanently into Marsh Farm. There is no public record of contact between them. The palace has offered nothing further. A royal expert who has covered the family since 2004 described the situation to Rolling Stone as the stuff of nightmares for King Charles. The same expert described the stripping of Andrew's titles as a preemptive strike, an indication that Charles grasped how serious some of these allegations are. He added, "If they are on a life raft after a shipwreck, Charles is not going to dive into the water to save his brother. Self-preservation, the expert said, is more important." Inside the police station, custody records identified Andrew Mountbatten Windsor not by title, not by rank, but as a man in his 60s from Norfolk. Standard British policing convention. He was not named publicly. He was processed and held and released the same way any other individual in that situation would be. Sources reported that he was referred to simply as detainee A inside the facility. Outside, the removal vans continued to arrive at Marsh Farm, paintings too large for the walls, curtains too heavy for the ceilings, boxes marked with a title he is no longer permitted to use. Elsewhere in this story, Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's ex-wife, who shared Royal Lodge with him until the eviction, has faced her own consequence. York City Council voted to strip her of the freedom of the city of York, an honor she had held since 1987. The motion passed, and the Epstein files continue to generate inquiry on both sides of the Atlantic. Peter Mandelson, the former Labour cabinet minister, is also under police investigation for his links to Epstein following the latest document release. The family of Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide in 2025, aged 41, after spending years alleging she was trafficked to Andrew when she was 17, issued a statement the day of the arrest. "At last," they said. "Our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty. He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you." Marsh Farm is a modest, red brick building, a few kilometers from Sandringham House, shielded from the road by a freshly installed 6-foot fence, closed metal gates, new CCTV cameras, and a no-fly zone overhead. From the outside, it resembles a secure location. From the inside, it is apparently being decorated to resemble Royal Lodge. The same heavy curtains, the same valuable artwork, the same organizational structures, the same forms of address, reproduced within a fraction of the space by a man the Crown is paying to house, whose brother's police force is actively investigating him. Andrew Mountbatten. Windsor still calls himself Prince Andrew in private. His boxes still arrive labeled HRH. His renovation timeline still runs on his terms. The title is gone. The behavior, by all accounts, has not changed. So the question is not whether those labels are accurate. It is whether the person directing staff to use them genuinely believes that they still apply, or whether he knows exactly what he is doing and simply does not believe anyone will stop him. So far, very little has suggested otherwise. If you want to stay informed as this investigation develops, subscribe.